Welcome to the Introduction to Python Part 1 part of this course. And for this part, we'll be discussing about the basics of Python. Then we'll be giving us brief introduction to Pandas. And we'll know what Python is and why they are important for web scraping and for data manipulation. And for this course, we won't be delving much into the deep part of Python because that might get us confusing a little bit. And for what we'll be learning in this part, we'll be making sure that we have the practical experience of the basics we'll be learning today on the introductory part of Python and the use of pandas. So, but before we do that, so let's give us some basic definitions of Python, then basic definition of parts of pandas, then before we now go on into the hands-on application or hands-on practical implementation of some of the basics of Python and pandas. What is Python? Python is a popular high-level programming language used in various applications. You can use Python for web development, you can use Python for data analysis, you can use Python for mobile application development, you can use Python for quite several number of things. Quite Python is one of the most popular universally known programming language. So Python is an easy language to learn because its syntax are extremely simple, one of the most simplest language to learn, very simple to learn. And it can also help you in implementing some basic simple application task, and also help you in implementing a very complex application task. So irrespective of its simplicity, Python can perform high complex application implementation. So that is why Python is one of the most popular programming language available. So, and if we are talking about Python, one of the basics of Python is the variables, and we all know what variable is. When you say variables, it means something that varies. So, if we say x is a variable, what it means is that the value that will be going into x will vary. If we say something is a constant, it means the value is constant. Pi in calculating area of a circle is 3.147. So 3.142, it doesn't change. It's constant. But for radius can be 2, can be 3, can be 5, can be 7, can be 8. So what it means is that since radius changes, automatically radius is a variable. So, and what it means is that if something varies, it means it can also adapt different data types. For example, a radius can be 2. When a radius is 2, it means that type of data type is a number, is an integer, because 2 is an integer. But if your radius is 2.5, it's also a number, but it's not an integer. It automatically becomes a float. So we have various that type of data types when we when we are talking in terms of variables now. So your data type can be integer, can be float, can be boolean, can be sequence, and many other types of data. And some of the most common one are the integer, the float, the string, the boolean, the list, the tuple, the dictionary, the set, and the non-type. When we say integer, example is 10 minus 5, a whole number. That's a kind of an integer variable. A float, 3.14 minus 0.5, that's a decimal number data type variable. Then for a string, your name can be a string, a sentence can be a string. In that case, you are referring to as text characters, they are referred to as what? A string data type. Boolean data type data type that has two options. It's either true or false, 0 or 1. they are basically used for logical values, and that is why it's either you say true, which represent 1, or false, which represents 0. Then for lists, these lists are very important when we further introduce us to pandas. List type of data type are represented using the square bracket. As you can see, the list data type there, we have 1, 2, 3. If you want to store a list of number, you want to store a list of values, you want to store a list of string, you have them in a square bracket, then you list them inside that square bracket. So for integer data type, it can only accept one value. If you say if you say radius equals to 5, that means the only value that radius can accept is 5. If we go further and now say radius equals to 10, what it means is that it will automatically replace the previous value of radius, which is 5, and replace it with 10. So, but if you now want your radius to be 5, 10, 15 for the same calculation, then you put that radius in a list, and that's the essence of list. So you can have list of numbers, list of values, list of data, and they can be represented using the list data type. Then we have what we call the tuple. It's just like your list, but represented in another format. Then your dictionary is an advanced version of your list, because your dictionary encompasses the list itself. So it has your key and it has the value pairs. So if you have a table format, like your Excel format, in your Excel format, you have different columns. The first column can be name, the second column can be age, the third column can be location. If under the first column, which is name, you have Tolu, Ojo, allies, you're on the second column, which is your age, 25, 27, 23. On the third column, which is location, Lagos, Abuja, Benue. So all these can be represented, can be captured using dictionary. So, and if you look at the example here, we have the name column, and the first name in that column will be Alice or Alice. So for sets are unordered unique items. For set are unordered unique item, while list and tuple are ordered. That is, they are in descending order or ascending order, while for set they can be in different order entirely. So the example here are the various type of data type we have that are available for Python. Then what are list and dictionary? Because these are very important and very unique towards the completion of this course. List, as we have explained earlier, the type of list data type and dictionary, but we will now be delving in details into it. What is a list in a Python? A list is a collection of items stored in a specific order. A list is a collection of items stored in a specific order. You can think of it like a shopping list or a roll of books. For example, you are going to a supermarket and you want to buy apple, banana, and orange. Your shopping list can have those details, and you can order them and store them in a list data type. And that is why an example is, okay, you want to order, you need there's a simple list of fruits. You have the variable fruits, which is the variable name, and that variable in this case now will now be a list variable. Then we'll now be assigning the fruits list into that fruit variable. And that's why if you look at the list there, we have apple, banana, orange. You can have as much as 10 different fruits. So, and those 10 different fruits can be stored into the list variable. So if we are to access the first variable there, if we are to access the first value in the list, which is apple, what you need to do is you print out the fruits, then you now have the square bracket 0. The 0 index means when you say 0, 0 means the first value, and the first value in that list is apple. If you now say fruits 1, square bracket 1, in this case it will print out banana. If you now say fruits square bracket 2, the value under 2 will be orange. If you now say fruits square bracket 3, there's no value for 3 because we only have 3 values in the list. And the first value in a list start with index 0, which is the apple. The index 1 is banana, while the index 2 is what? Is orange. The same thing applies to number. You have 5 numbers: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you store them in a variable number. So what it means is that that data type number, if you want to access the index 2, what is under the index 2 is 3. If you look at it, index 0 is value 1, index 1 is value 2, index 2 is value 3. So list is simply defined as a collection of items stored in a specific order. Lists are ordered, that is, they are in ascending order, or they are in the order in which you save or preserve your records. List can hold different type of data. It can hold number, it can hold string, it can hold multiple lists in between. And lists are written using square brackets. So if you now understand the basics of list, then what are Python dictionaries? Dictionary is like a real life dictionary, your normal dictionary. It helps you stores data in a key value pairs, and the essence of the key is for you to look up that value. So what are the points? Dictionary are unordered. Each item has a key and a value, and they are written using a curly bracket. Lists are written using square bracket, while dictionaries are written using curly bracket. Example: you have your Excel, you have your table. The table has name John, age 30, city Lagos. The table has a column name, a column age, and a column city. So if we are to represent this table using dictionary, then what you simply need to do is, these details represent a detail of a human being or person. So that means we can create a dictionary called person and assign the value of this table into that dictionary. And to do that, your name, which is the column name, now represent the key. So for each of the values, you must assign the key to it. So there should be a key, there should be a value, there should be a key, there should be a value, and there should be a key, and everything will be within the curly bracket. So to represent this table in dictionary format, you have your curly bracket, the name, which is the column name, then full column John, that is, the name is John, then age in quotation, full column 30. 30 is the number. Then the column name city, full column Lagos in column. If you notice that out of these three, only number is not in quotation because it's a number. When you are talking about string variables, strings are always represented using quotation. So and that's why John is quoted and Lagos is quoted. But if you are using number, if you are applying number, assigning number, you don't need to quote it, and that's why our 30 is not in quotation. So to simply represent that table in dictionary, you simply have a dictionary representing a person, that is person equals to the curly bracket name John, age 30, and city Lagos. So if you have more columns, that means your your dictionary will have to increase. Let's now assume we want to extract the value of John from that table or from the dictionary. So how do you do that? You simply print the person. The person is the dictionary name. Then my dictionary can be as I can we can call it P instead of person. So if we say P, what it means is that we will say P, then we will put in square bracket the name column, then automatically it will fetch the value of John. It will automatically fetch John. Then the same thing too for person. If you say person, square bracket, you have your city, it will fetch out Lagos. You can also add to the new pair. You can also change the value, and also you can also print everything all together from the list and from the so in order to compare list and dictionary, we have this table. The syntax square bracket for dictionary curly bracket, date data format just the values, while for dictionary it has key and value pairs. For list, order matters yes. For dictionary, unordered. Example here we have banana, apple, while for example we have the name John, age 30. Access is by index. For dictionary, access is by key. While for Pandas is simply an open source Python library used for data manipulation, analysis, and cleaning. It's especially popular in data science, machine learning, and data engineering due to its ease of use and powerful capabilities for handling structured data. In web scraping, we'll be handling a lot of data, and that's why we need the Pandas library of Python. We'll be using Pandas library of Python to manage our data structure, and that's why we're introducing us to the basics of and for Pandas, we have several key features of Pandas. The data frame is like a 2D table, a spreadsheet, your normal Excel spreadsheet with rows and columns. So in Pandas, you have what we call the data frame, which comprises of rows, and several columns. It can also be in a series, that is in a 1D array. It can be just a value in a single. When you have your an Excel in Excel having just a single row, the row has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is a series. So you can have it in either a 2D format, that is a table format, then a 1D format, which is an array. Then you can read and write data to Excel, to CSV, because it helps you to support CSV format reading. That is, you can have your Excel record of thousands of records and load them into your Pandas. You can also export all your record into Excel. That's the essence of one advantage of using Pandas. If you have a data in an Excel format and you want to manipulate it, you want to do data analysis, you can easily read them using Pandas. Then you can handle data cleaning and preparation. You can handle data analysis and aggregation. You can group. All this we'll be looking at, and we'll be doing a hands-on application of it during the course of work. Example of Pandas data frame, like we said earlier, a further example of Pandas data frame is this two-dimensional tabular structure, which is similar to our Excel structure, and it consists of rows and columns. If you look at this table now, we have the name, we have the age, we have the city, and for it has 3 columns, 3 rows. The row 1 has Ajayi, age 25, lives in Lagos. Row 2 has Bobinson, age 30, lives in Abuja. Row 3 has Lawal, age 35, lives in Kano. So in order to represent these in Pandas, Then we have this structure here. Pandas create a structure you for that table in this format. The name, just like your just like the dictionary, will have the name as the key, the age as the key, and the city as the key. But in this case, we are not just considering one name. If we are considering one name, it will have been name full column quotation Ajayi in full column. But in this case, we are having three names. We have Ajayi, Bobinsin, and Lawal. So what it means is that Ajayi, Bobinsin, and Lawal will be in square bracket as an array, as a list, all assigned to the column name. The same thing too applies to the age. Age has 25 for Ajayi, 30 for Bobinsin, and 35 for Lawal. The same thing for city. So with this method, you can represent your data, your Excel data, your table in a data frame, and that is the way Python represents your records in a data frame. It extracts that your table and change the format into something that is readable for Python to read. So and that is why in most cases you can export that value into CSV to HTML and manipulate the data, update it, make use of it, and re-export those data after manipulation as Excel. Thank you.